Hello there. Today we are revisiting the conversation on staying focused when distraction arises. And I say revisiting because these are the things that happen when you're going live daily and a distraction happens and you want to talk about it. Well, then there's the distraction on the distraction. So this whole video was previously recorded, and I had a couple of coughing fits in there. So I didn't use it the day that I wanted to, and knowing that I needed to edit it, even though I'm on a no editing kick right now as we are relaunching and getting going again. So it's part of my plan to actually just go raw and keep it going. But, lots of coughing, had to absolutely, go in and check it out. So that's what I was doing. I was going in to check it out to see where I could make some minor edits real quick on the coughing fits, only to discover, only to discover that there was no sound. So while I recognized that I had not turned my mic on for the video, I realized that after the fact. Okay, no worries. I was like, it'll just go off of, the sound from the phone, video, whatever. Well, because of the little plug-in thing, I'm pretty sure that prohibited it from recording as it normally would, recording the sound. So therefore, there is a good solid 20 minutes with no sound. So here we are again, 2.0, about staying focused with the when distraction arises. Because if that is not a classic uh, example of this whole situation, I don't know what is. And when I was doing my coffee chats, that would happen a few times. I can remember one time in particular, though, because I was really upset because it was a really, really good session and the mic was not on. And it was one of those times when I had not fully scripted. I don't normally fully script, but at least put some, bullet points together or whatever. And I had not done that for that particular one. So I had to go back and redo it and woosah and reset. Oh my god. So this video was originally about responding to a distraction that had happened a few nights ago, and how the next morning I was still kind of reeling from it and didn't feel like I was up to doing the video, which meant to me I absolutely needed to do it. And so here we are back again because of the distraction within the distraction. And now I'm absolutely laughing about it because this is classic, absolutely classic for the things that I would talk about and what you need to keep an eye open for when really crazy distractions just seemingly pop up out of nowhere. Before we jump in, I want to ask you to remember to hit the thumbs up, subscribe as we reinvigorate this channel and make sure that it reaches the people that it needs to reach. Ask your support in doing that. So here's the thing. A few nights ago, it had been a busy weekend. I was a little tired. And so halfway needing to do some recovery and just a tiny bit of work, but not really wanting to. So kind of there. And then this matter comes up, personal matter comes up, and just literally takes me completely off guard because I wasn't expecting it at that time. Like, so this is dealing with an issue over and over again, thinking it had been resolved, only to find out it had not been, and I'm livid. I mean, like, absolutely, positively livid. And yeah, there was lots of not nice words. lots of um, just lots of angst. And I was upset about even having or feeling upset because when you think something's resolved and that the situation has been taken care of, only to find out it has not, that just like re triggers the whole situation. And considering that this particular one had been going on for some weeks, I was like over it. I'm like, I'm so over this. So for me in that moment, I just couldn't sit there. I was so aggravated. There was so much negative energy being generated. I just got up and started cleaning. It was like the natural thing. I just started cleaning. That I needed some way to push out that negative energy, and that was it. So in a time when I would never be cleaning, it was, later in the evening. I'm supposed to be chilling. No, I'm cleaning like a mad woman because I'm so aggravated and I need to get that energy, that nervous energy or that upsetting energy out because I know that I need to like self-regulate. And it's coming, but I got to get some of this out first. Like I know where I need to get because I'm not trying to set off a stress induced you know uh, a stress induced situation for my chronic illness. Not trying to do that. That is not what I'm trying to do. So I get that energy out. I'm doing some nervous system regulation, little things, and um, and even like a good cry. It was an angry cry, not a like oh, but there it was definitely an angry cry, and getting myself situated so I can try and get some sleep, which I did. And just waking the next morning feeling very lethargic is not the word, just kind of a little sad, still aggravated, but knew that I had an activity that I needed to go to. There was a workshop that I had pre in person that I had pre signed up for. An old friend and colleague was facilitating it, and I'm like, I'm not going to sit here and be woe is me. Let me go ahead and get up, get out, and go do this. And I'm so glad I did because it ended up being a fantastic opportunity to see folks I hadn't seen in a while, to meet some new people, to engage in some really powerful thought leadership on an important matter, and new idea, or not new, but uh, newly recognized concept in the nonprofit world when it comes to helping facilitate support for nonprofits on the back end. And so all of that, and I came out feeling very much more empowered, um, with a lot of that, negative energy from the previous day being sloughed off. It was still there because it still bothered me. Like the situation still absolutely bothered me. And knowing that at some point I will have to address it again, but this was not going to be the time because I needed to get to another level. So, I was still working through all of that. So here's the thing that really stood out for me as the reminder about the distraction that shows up when you're staying focused. Because here's what I've really been doing. I have been all in focused on doing these daily videos of um, instituting the conversations that I've been having for years, years and years worth of conversations on career development, on relationship building, on leadership, and had taken a year off from new content on it and was trying to figure out where to go next. And so I finally, decided this is the way we're going to ease back in and figure out what that looks like. So it's very important for me to be able to have the right mindset and the proper energy to come forward in doing videos. And I know when something like that happens, like that shows up in some kind of way. It shows up on camera and it affects the delivery. And not so much in the words, but just in the energy that's delivered. So that's why I was like, I don't know that I can do that. I might need to put that off for a day, which was then the next trigger for me of like, oh, absolutely not, because now I realize that that whole situation would serve as an uh, a distraction to this goal that I have already put in place, the activities to make it happen. And I was not going to let that happen. I was not going to allow that to be. So I knew that I needed to do whatever I needed to do so as not to disrupt that. Now, here's the thing, this is not a, oh, suck it up and just push through mentality. Way over that. Did that for a number of years. That is a direct line for, you know, um, burnout eventually, right? So, been there, done that. It's not that type of push through, but much more of a, okay, wait, let me lean in and be aware of what's going on and what do I need to do in order to address it. So the first point being is that awareness. And the awareness actually started long before the incident showed up, because I had already been rolling right along. Things have been going pretty decent with this project. I'm learning a lot. I'm still studying, because with switching my primary platform to YouTube for long form content. Like, this is figuring out how to make this work and for it to be impactful in the way that I would like for it to be long term. Now, that said, that means I'm kind of starting anew, not starting over, but starting anew with learning something for real. That's really what the deal was. And knowing that in the past for me, anytime I would be really getting going on a project, or let's say some planning, if I'm doing some strategic planning and I'm really at a really critical point, or proposals that happen a lot when I would be doing those RFPs or something and really getting into it, or an opportunity, let's say, that's presented itself and I'm excited about it and I'm gearing up and figuring out what needs to be done. There would be this thing, whatever that might be, that just seemed to just whoosh, come in out of nowhere and just like blow up my uh my energy, my mindset, the process, and basically serve as a complete distraction to finishing whatever it was that I was trying to get done. So for an RFP, it could be all of a sudden losing the document, or it could be um, the tech decides it doesn't want to work and won't upload the RFP so that I can make sure that it's on time, right? We're not even talking about, okay, you're waiting to 10 minutes before, Trisha. Like, that's old stuff. I'm talking about, I'm actually trying to do this right way, maintain my stress levels at a low level, all of that. And then there's still this thing. Or, when someone doesn't do what they were supposed to do. And so here I am having to deal with it when I'm not supposed to be dealing with it, and it taking me off course from the plan that I have in place. So that's that gut reminder and awareness that just listen to your intuition. So, because on some level, I knew this was coming. I didn't know what it would be, but I knew that something would be coming, because that has happened before. It's not the first time. Now, someone out there might say, "Oh, well, aren't you just kind of speaking that negativity into existence or whatever?" I'm like, "No, I'm not." Because the truth of the matter is, when you are up leveling in your life, in your career, in your business, literally things will happen that, may serve as a potential, what's the word? Um, Opposition is what's coming, but that's not really it. But just kind of a, you know, I'll just use the word distraction again, but it's kind of like something being tossed in there to disrupt the process, just to disrupt that. And in some ways, that's kind of a test for ourselves, right? To say, oh, well, how are you going to handle this? Are you really committed to this process? Are you really committed to this project? Are you really committed to this next level of growth that you want for yourself? Well, hello, let's drop a little something here and see, right? And so that leads to making sure that first, after you acknowledge the gut, your intuition, whatever you want to call it, r- being acknowledging that, right? Don't push that down. Acknowledge it for what it is. And then I just say, go ahead and have your pity party. Now, that is a practice I've had for years, right? I just learned over the years to not let the pity parties last for an extended period of time because it does affect your mindset. It does affect your confidence. It does affect, how you move forward. So depending on what the situation is, if it's one that I'm like highly aggravated and whatever, and it's like, okay, I need an hour or two, let me step off. Let me go take a bubble bath. There have been many middle of the day bubble baths in recent years because I'm like, I'm gonna need to step away from this because that is nuts and I need to go reset. Right. So there have been those situations. But then there's also been moments where I'm like, I need a full 24 hours, maybe 48 hours. And I will say, kind of like stepping off, I call it just stepping off into the gutter, having that whole pity party, kind of losing it, whatever you're going to do. But I give myself a set time and I'm like, pull it together, let's go. And that's how I'll move forward because you got to put those barriers up and those boundaries, I will say is maybe a better word, to allow yourself to feel the feels, to do all of that, and then to also say, I'm not allowing this to redirect my path and my journey ad nauseum. Like this is not just going to be allowed to happen for some extended period of time. That doesn't mean that the situation is resolved in that 48 hours, but your response to it, your immediate response to it is regulated within that 48 hours. And then I can think more clearly about how to address the situation long term. That's normal. Or, if it's something, again, there's a deadline, then it's like, okay, I got to do this, do whatever I need to do, and then move forward. Like, okay, how can I adjust this next time? Or what have I learned from this situation? And, that next piece of just leaning into what you need in the moment is so important. And for me in this situation, I knew that leaning in meant I needed to not alter my schedule for the next day because that's the temptation, right? And I've done it before. So no judgment. I've been that point where I was like, you know what? I just can't. I'm so over this. I'm so disgusted. Why am I being bothered with still doing X? And so, yeah, I might have probably leaned into having an extended pity party. But then again, that's why I built up this other piece of the response system, which is putting some boundaries around how long I allow myself to do that, and then to actively step back in and take ownership of whatever needs to be done. And from the perspective of not allowing the existing calendar to be disrupted, for me in this particular moment, it was because I did not need to isolate myself. I actually needed the benefit of getting out and, dare I say, adding another distraction, but being more targeted with it because this was something that allowed me to engage in constructive conversations, to really lean into something else that had nothing to do with this previous situation. But what it did do was restore some energy that I needed, some positive energy that I needed, so that I could do what? Come back and do the videos that I need to do to stay on track for my goal with this project. That's it. That's pretty much how it went down. And my recovery for it. And then the recovery from the recovery. I mean, actually, when I realized that the sound had not been on for the video, when I discovered that, I just laughed. I wasn't even mad. I couldn't even be mad at that point because I was like, oh, that figures. Like, that tracks. I just laughed. I laughed and I was like, oh, so I guess I'm about to go do my videos again now as opposed to waiting. So, yeah, my day was disrupted. This was supposed to be kind of a recovery day for me where I like to take things slow, focus on some, household things, some maybe some calendaring things, administrative. But I realized I was like, nope, you got to get up, get going, because this needs to be redone, and then allow me to do the next piece of work so that I can stay on track. And that's just what I did. And so that's the thing I'm going to encourage you to think about when some distraction shows itself, when you really feel like I'm on track, I'm doing the thing, and then it's just craziness that seems to come out of nowhere. It's not coming out of nowhere. It's been lingering there, waiting for just the right moment to toss a little wrench in your plans, in your excitement, in your new mindset, and considering it as a test and or a uh, how committed you are to being resolved to continue on the journey, to uh, not letting certain things take you out when it comes to your growth, your your plans, and being able to move forward, right? So don't ignore your gut. Feel all the feels, have your pity party, step off the sidewalk into the gutter, but put a time limit on it. That's always my thing. Put a time limit on it. And then when you step back up, it's like, what is it that I really need to focus on right now? And lean into that, knowing that you have time afterwards to go and then not just address what the original trigger or situation was, if it still needs to be addressed, but also to uh, self correct on the part of the journey that was trying to, that it was being that was being distracted, right? That you were being distracted from. So there we are. I hope that is helpful to someone out there because it happens. It happens often, and the faster you can acknowledge it and then set yourself up for a, I won't say a quick recovery, but an effective recovery, the better off you will be. There we are. Okay. All right. So, once again, my name's Patricia. I'm here to help support um, women of color who are leaders and professionals and entrepreneurs and who are looking to uplevel their lives in all the ways, and especially in how they present themselves as leaders, how they build out their professional relationships in a very empowered way, while making sure that you give some serious um, uh, activity when it comes to self care and supporting yourself in the ways that you may not be getting from somewhere else. All right. And here's my thing, make sure that you remember to celebrate you and all your greatness each and every day and all the things because you deserve it. All right. Take care. Talk soon.